I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
roll call, please.
All right, Jennifer McHarg,
Yes, here.
Jim Constantine,
Here.
Approval of minutes for July 19th, 2023.
Make motion to approve the minutes, July 19th.
Second, roll call, please.
Constantine,
Yes.
Jennifer McHarg.
Yes. Correspondence, we have a refund request. For Corey McClanahan. Is that correct? Did I say it right?
Yes. Yeah, so I sent you the top sheet. He did supply me with the proof of all his payments resulting in the credit. This was at town council meeting last Wednesday because part of his credit balance is for trash. That was approved. So I would just ask that the sanitary board approve his refund request.
Make a motion, we approve it.
Okay,
Refund.
and his wastewater balance credit is 208.47.
Make a motion, we refund his money.
Second. Roll call, please.
Jim Constantine,
Aye.
Jennifer McHarg.
Yes. All right, reports. Sanitary report.
I don't have anything out of normal, just to reiterate a little bit, we've been having a lot of power failures and a lot of still working on station number 2, just to reiterate that, so the board knows.
Okay. And wastewater treatment plant report.
Looks like Larry has not joined us, so we do not have one this evening.
Okay. Engineer report.
No report, I guess the only thing I have, but it's not really directly related to the sewers, is there's a building, site that I'm reviewing for, what's that, an auto shop on 20, so that'll become a new user. But, it's because it's new construction, but, that's the only thing I have going on that, that involves the sanitary system.
I know he put gravel to Old Quarter. Is that okay there?
Yeah, so I did, I can't remember who the correspondence was, I know Trent forwarded it to me. I did go out there and look. That area is pretty flat, and where the water would shed anyhow, it's not going nowhere else because there's no other culverts.
Okay.
So, and again, it's a temporary, so I would think that
Okay.
he would put some type of drainage once he's done. But right now, it's not affecting it, and coincidentally, after your incident, we just had a pretty good rain. So I was able to go out there and there was no water issues, because most of that water, the storm system is actually on the south side of Oakwood Road that goes to
Oh,
Salt Creek.
okay.
So once that watershed comes off, it was fine. It
Okay.
wasn't affecting them, so.
Okay. I was wondering about it.
Yeah, I forgot to
Every time I drove by.
I think it came up at Plan Commission, if memory serves me right,
Mhm.
so we looked at it and, it sounds like he told him that he would put a culvert in, but there's nowhere for, if he puts a culvert in there, he's actually gonna create more of an issue where it's gonna set just in the culvert.
It's
the water.
not that deep there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, the only thing that I'll say, sorry, because that's where we're pretty low at, and we may have not got this far, so I'm probably putting the horse before the water. Are we gonna have room for a are we gonna have room for gravity to go to that manhole where he's going to pour in?
I haven't checked it yet, so that was a good question.
Yeah, there's a manhole.
I think, if I remember correctly, I think they just show a gravity lateral to it, but that's a good question. I will look.
Yeah, cause I think that lateral was actually on the
Okay.
might be incorrect.
All right. Remind me.
There's a lot of reminding these days. Let's see, future infrastructure, anything? 2024 budget. This is my first time, obviously, with the budget for sanitation. Anybody have anything?
I don't wanna step on toes, but that, pretty big jump on the secretary wages. That's $6,900.
Well, that is a combination between a portion of the clerk treasurer's wages and then half of my wages. And that is actually just at what I'm getting paid right now and not a raise, because I will not be here next year.
But it's 6,000, well, just shy of $7,000.
Right.
That's what kind of a percentage? Interest, percentage. 8%, 10% raise?
3%, 3.5% on the clerk treasurer's salary. And 0 on the current deputy clerk salary.
Yeah, if I could help Jim, like Corinne said, the board kind of sent out an overall that this is what you do as 3.5% increase for all departments to do. So that's pretty much what everybody went to. So when Corinne was preparing this, we just kind of went with that, and keep in mind, like she said, it's hers and the clerk treasurer, because the clerk treasurer does file an portion of this as well. So that's why that increase is there.
And the raises that were given for 2023 were given after those budgeted amounts were listed, so.
Reduce the overtime wages.
Yeah, that's one of those numbers too that, and I know what type of year, we didn't have that 7-year rain this year that, you know, we don't, again, that's a hard one. We try to keep it down. If our systems are running good, we're doing good, so.
Yeah, we've been lucky.
Yeah. Don't jinx me. Other than that, like we've said in the past, we're trying to have more of an established budget, but it's one of those things as we try to work with what we have. And I mean, I most certainly can sit here and say we need a lot more money in equipment and not use it all year, so.
And so keep in mind too, the utility is not appropriated. It doesn't have to be appropriated like the other town funds.
Yeah, I understand
Whereas,
that. It's just a number that jumps out there, a big raise like that. And all along, I don't want to see us down the road getting in trouble and having to raise the rates to people.
Do we have to prove it?
No.
Or talk?
Not just talking about it, follow through it.
yeah, I'm assuming you'll review it at your,
And we really never
Tomorrow.
live by 100% anyway. Well, we haven't, put it that way. But knowing that for both parties, yours and
James.
James, that's not that awful bad, but I'd like to see the overtime kick back up at least to 6,000 at least. Otherwise, we're gonna end up short.
But again, we could transfer if we need
We can
to.
move money.
Yeah, I know, but it just. We've been lucky.
That's up to you guys. If you want to move that, I can most certainly have Corinne adjust that.
You can change it.
Yeah,
A lot of the other stuff we basically have to live with, the social security, health insurance, whatever it is, we have to live with. I think you hurt yourself on gas. Live.
yeah, that's another one I thought when I did, when Corinne sent this to me, her and I kind of sent it back and forth. That was another one at the time we were doing fine. and now gas is $4.20.
Yeah, so you're hurting yourself there, I think.
So yeah, we probably will.
And already we're in trouble with repair parts.
I was trying to be a little conservative, like I says, but knowing that we can reappropriate monies in here, but yeah.
I think we're gonna already break that 5,000 of repair parts this week on the camera.
Well, and that may even come depending on how it's listed and how the clerk's office feels that's listed. That may even be a miscellaneous services item or something like that that we can pull from, but I most certainly understand what you're saying. But again, these are some numbers that this year it could be 5,000, next year it could be $100.
Nobody knows
Right.
what could happen.
Well, I like to see having a little cushion in there.
So we could change it.
Equipment repair, I guess that camera can come under equipment repairs, wouldn't it?
Yeah, depending on what it is, if it's a service issue and they could fix it through software, it might be.
Miscellaneous services, it could be a combination of all three.
Yeah. So,
We could take from one and, you
Yeah.
know, not the other, depending on.
Yeah, I'd like to see you pick a couple of them up, and other than that, it was pretty good. Cause gas is gonna go up, you know that.
so you like to see gas increased.
And I'd like to see your overtime increased, cause we've been lucky. But what did we spend last year on overtime?
Well, 2022, it says 38, 46.
I'd like to see you pick that overtime up to 6,000, is what I'd like to see. And kick up that gas at least another 1,000, just to cover it.
And we're talking about gasoline.
Gasoline for
Fuel,
vehicles.
okay.
That, where are you covering our maintenance? Oil changes and stuff like that.
Again, that comes a lot of times out of miscellaneous services or repair parts.
Okay, if that's where you wanna get it from.
A lot of times the street department will do the oil changes for us, so then I just gotta pay for the material.
Okay, I don't see no problem with it then.
Are you good?
Yeah.
There's one thing that I just caught, like he was saying about gasoline,
Mhm.
we should probably add a T22 category for diesel. You think, versus gas.
We can, yeah.
I just
we
know
want- Yeah, it's,
my other budgets like that, so we prefer, do we have to do that or no?
you don't have to.
Oh, okay.
I
Okay, then
mean,
I'm
we
fine.
can take it all out of the same,
Simplicity is better,
Right.
as long as we can do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, you can.
Okay.
New business. Approval of claims.
Well, new business, we got a repair to make. That come under new business?
We can talk about it. Yeah,
I'd like to see if, Bill or one of the other gentlemen could take the camera up there. It'd be cheaper.
did we find out the cost of freight?
We won't know that until it's.
Those already done.
There's no guarantee how long it's gonna take if they take it by freight. And then they want to charge insurance.
So I explained the process to. Basically, what we have to do is we have to have them ship me a freight package.
Mhm.
We box it and clean it and all that, not clean it. Grade it.
Yeah.
And then they will get a carrier to accept a delivery that they use, obviously. We can most certainly do our own as well, but obviously I have no expertise in doing that. We ship it out, and then they would, obviously give us an estimate at that time, by mileage. So, but again, I haven't done any of that legwork, but I'm guessing no less than $500 by the time we do all that in shipping. And then, I don't know if that's one way or if it's both ways.
It'd be both ways.
Yeah, I would think so.
Whatever the figure they give you is gonna be twice.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And you're taking a chance that they don't drop it. And break
Possibly
it.
being able to put it in the truck ourselves and drive it up. It's a 3.5 hour drive. I did Google it. Just to give you guys the options.
I would like to. Whoever goes. If it could stay there long enough to get an idea how long it would be for them to have it down, it could give you an answer then.
Oh, I most certainly would talk to them and communicate with them before we did something like that to see if it's.
It's a possibility that they could fix it overnight.
Yeah. And see if they can at least troubleshoot it while we're there.
Yeah.
If that's what we did.
Because we need it.
That will
It
certainly-
costs us a lot of money.
Yeah, I don't wanna drive there and turn around, and drive back the next day if it was.
Yeah.
So. Again, let me work a little more. I just need somebody to be able to authorize it. Cause I don't wanna wait another cycle, another month, sorry.
Yeah, I'd like to see it. I'd like to take it up there and bring it back, is what I like to see.
Who would be taking it up there?
Probably be me.
Oh, just you or? Well, then if you want him to stay, then we're looking at probably a hotel stay too.
Yeah, if we benefit from it. If it's something they can look at, oh yeah, it's just a software, we gotta download some software and do it ready by tomorrow morning.
Yeah, if that's the case, we could talk about that, then, I don't think it's gonna be a quick fix like that, well, I guess it could be if they have the cable in house and it's just a cable,
Yeah, it's, you don't know until you get there,
no.
and it could take 2, 3, 4 weeks if we ship it. And like we discussed it, if we pay Eagle to run the camera.
Yeah.
It's gonna cost us $2,000 to $3,000.
Yeah.
On top of that. The cost. And you're talking $3,000 to $4,000 total, when it could cost us maybe 2 days' wages.
Right. Yeah, it's really up to the board, I don't care the way, I'm more than willing to drive it up there, it's a day's work, I'm also more than willing to, whatever you guys want, if we wanna get the freight here and ship it, whatever you guys decide is either way will work with me, I'm just trying to see if it's cheaper to drive it versus freight it.
Well, like we discussed on the sanitary, on the MS4 board. We've already spent $2,000 to clean the line. And if we wait 3 weeks, 4 weeks before we can run the camera down, we could get a lot of rain and have to clean it again before we can run the camera.
Well, yeah, there's no, I think, yeah, we definitely need to get it fixed, I mean, it's a $34,000 camera.
Right.
We need to get it fixed, it's just, what's the best method that you guys want me to do, and again, I wasn't making that move until.
We've also had experiences, ordering a refrigerator and have it delivered, and it had dents in it, and a forklift ran into it, and that's, like I said, $30,000 piece of machinery.
Yeah, and I tried to get out of them an estimate, and like I says, I couldn't even get an estimate on what if it was just a cable. But we don't know which cable you have, you know, that's what I was running into. It could be the camera, it could be the lens, it could be, they won't know until they actually physically diagnose. And we try to do everything on the phone, you know, cleaning the connections, taking this connection off. So again, we ran out of options to the point that, well, it needs to be shipped up here, or you guys can bring it up here.
I guess we're at the point, I'd make a motion that we let Bill drive it up there. Expedite it as fast as we can to save us money.
Yeah, the only cost of that is gonna be the
The
fuel.
gas and his wages.
Yeah, sorry.
All right, we'll try it. I'll second.
Ready for roll call?
Sorry.
Jim
Trigger
Constantine,
now, yes.
Jennifer McCart.
Yes. Approval claim. Submitted with 2 hour signatures.
Make a motion to approve Penny's purchase orders.
Second, roll call please.
Jim Constantine,
Yes,
Jennifer McCart.
Yes. Spending review.
all right, me.
Delinquencies. Do you have anything? And flow report.
Something different on the flow report, other than you'll see, if our newer system, it now shoots me a town failure if we don't get a reading. And that just simply means the power went down or the computer was powered down, which that case actually had 2 of them, I believe. But you'll see it on the next report. Computer was down when I came in, so over the weekend. So it was, did an update.
There was one more thing on the old business. What was our final outcome on the lightning strike? We took everything all fixed up and
Oh, I'm still waiting on parts. I'm waiting on the call box still. I've asked to have 2 of those as you guys told me to do it, so we got one in stock. The float mechanism, the secondary float mechanism. We're waiting on those parts. Check those again today. They're still not in. So it's just we're at the mercy of that. We got everything working. It's just we're on creative backups, I guess you would say. So as soon as those parts come in, we'll be installing those.
do we have just standard ground rods or do we have chemical ground rods?
No, we got standard. We don't have chemical ground rods. Because the settings of the lift stations, they're in different, like the water tables and things like that.
Well, you know what a chemical,
Yeah,
they're salt filled,
right.
they wouldn't work for us.
They might,
Can you ask them?
yeah, I'll ask, I'll most certainly inquire about them. We just always had the physical ground rod in, so. But yeah, so we're working, continuing, I don't know why, it seems like our area has had a lot of power outages lately. We lost a leg on 4. I was out with number 5 and 6. And then number 2 again, it's just been glitches. Car accidents, birds and wires. I mean, we've had stuff. It's just seriously, that's what we wanted before.
Okay, had one last week, it's still got electrocuted in front of my house, pop a breaker.
That might have been what did number 3, because we got called out for gravity glitch. That was a quick one though. So it's just been one of those months, I guess I could say. So we're continuing to work with it, so you will see my expenses as those come in, especially for the call box, that flow controller, redundant flow controller. I can't think of the name at first. It's called redundant flow controller. As soon as that comes in, that's the part that scares me the most, because if my transducer goes out and that redundant controller dies, then I could possibly have a high level issue that I don't know about. So we're trying to get that part in first. That's the one I'm really trying to. But I have it wired backwards, just so if it does go on a high, I'm actually getting a low wet well level, but it might be a high wet well level. So at least I'm getting called.
Right.
So that's where we're at with that.
And no idea when the parts come in.
They told me the redundant controller was supposed to be here this week, but it's not here. So again, I called and they said it's supposed to be shipped from the manufacturer. That's all I can tell you. So that's where I'm at with it.
Part of what I'm afraid of with our camera too, it could get put on a truck and get sent the wrong place.
It could.
It happens.
Okay.
I'll work on it. I'll keep you guys updated on that once I talk to the company about when they'll accept it.
Okay. Alright, go to the order, anything?
The only thing that I'll have, I did bring some literature on, this is not a decision, this is for budgeting purposes. We talked about, because I'm having issues, everybody's having issues with the back trucks and stuff being available for emergencies. Like I said, we had the one issue. So we talked about briefly about the backup pumps, or sorry, not backup. The bypass pump, thank you. The bypass pump, and then I also went ahead and coincidentally had a demo come out for, which I didn't even know this exists, so I learned some as well. A smaller back truck it's a combo truck, back clean truck, that it's a 5-yard. And it has the capability of being a bypass pump on the truck itself. Disadvantage, a lot more money, obviously. However, that inquired me to go talk to the town of Porter and just conversations. Why and what type of maintenance that you're dealing with one of those. The jetter trucks, you're gonna have a little more maintenance because it's a vehicle, and they're gonna cost you between $350,000 and $400,000. 319. The bypass pump that we need for the lift that we need for 30 to 40 feet down, without the attachments and the trailer, right now we're looking at close to 89 to 100,000. So those are the price ranges that I received through a couple different vendors that I bought with me. So I guess it's something for the board to think about. Talking to the other municipalities around us, we feel that we can justify the cost. I will tell you this, like I told you why we needed a bypass pump as a minimum. We're right on the river, and we're probably for our main lift station, we don't have a whole lot of window or time to wait for a back truck, especially when they say they won't come.
We've known that for 18 years now.
We've had a couple close issues. So again, bypass pump versus that, it's really a board's decision. However, I think we need to consider one or the other in the upcoming year to protect ourselves.
And there's no way we could barricade that, build a dike.
No,
Around.
you're at the lowest part there is, and we're right on the river, and our water table is literally less than 15 feet. So I will say this about the back truck side of it, and I'm not at all trying to advocate for this. It's really a board's decision. I will say this part of it, as we move into the MS4 side of this, and we're going to see us having to use a back truck a lot more. And our engineers can tell you this, we are going to be responsible for cleaning our
Lift stations.
Well, we are already responsible for a lift station. One, we can do that without the charge if we have our own. But the second is all of our catch basins for our storm sewers. The basins have to be recorded, cleaned a minimum of twice a year, or as needed is how it says.
Okay, another question I got to ask on that thing. Is there any type of grants we can get to help the town purchase something like that? And or can we recoup any of the expenses if we were to make it available to the other towns if they had trouble?
I don't think you want to get into that. That gets into a whole different thing, because that was one of the things somebody asked me about Porter. Can we borrow Porter's truck? And they're not comfortable with that. I mean, that's a big piece of equipment. So you take it to Porter and tear it up, or Burns Harbor, and I'm just using Porter because they're our name, by the way. That I would not feel comfortable doing that, nor would I want that.
I'm just trying to think of ways we could.
Yeah, so the first part, grants, it might be available. I don't know. I've not researched that or tried that. The second part is, I don't think this would be an expense that we would want to pay out. Well, maybe a lump sum. This would probably be something that you want to, like, we're a part of Source One, so you get better financing options, and you probably want to purchase and maybe pay a couple payments, or 3 or 4. Whether it's the pump or it's the truck. But like I was saying, the only thing that I'd like to train for thought, I guess, is to understand that we're gonna have to start using a contractor a lot more to clean our catch basins.
And they're already charging us how much per trip?
We saw $2,000 for a 1 day for Eagle Services just to jet one line. So now we're talking about all the catch basins in the town. As an MS4, that's gonna be part of our,
So it's good, and it's still gonna end up costing us $20,000-$30,000 a year just coming out the basins.
well, and again, that's why I wanted to bring this up for us to think about. And I know Jeanette can speak on that, that's part of MS4 is cleaning. So it is something we're going to have to do. So while we're talking about this, do we waste $100,000? Or do we talk maybe to sanitation, and I know Storm doesn't have any money as of now, Storm in the town, because it's gonna be a joint effort, we're gonna use it for, I would suggest that we would buy this equipment, if we're gonna buy a truck like that, that it's capable of doing storm and
Yeah.
sanitation.
Mhm.
So something to think about, we don't have to make that decision now, there's always, I shouldn't say always in the market we are, but there's always usually demos or something that we can look at. I did check, because you do get some pretty good discounts going through that Source One that we are registered as.
How about getting some figures and
Yeah,
next meeting?
well, and that's why I, again, it's hard to say, okay, get figures, because I don't wanna, lack of better terms, waste those sales guys' time. Saying, hey, give me a good quote on this. So I did, like I said, it's between 80 and 90 for a pump, and the trucks are $319. This is not used, these are new, okay, this ain't trying to buy somebody else's used stuff. $319 to $498 for the one with the electronic stuff versus the cables, not cables, the manuals. And again, this is just one vendor, that's selling two different units, both for the pump and that, because I.
Well, I say, if you get some figures from some other companies, and
Yeah.
like I said, maybe got some demos and.
And again, we may not wanna act on this for another year or 2
Yeah.
years, but, I just want you guys to know that in the future, this is what we're gonna be renting a truck for Eagle Services. Right now, in emergency purposes, we have nothing if we can't get somebody out, so.
Yeah.
Just food for thought and.
Well, on down the road, you can throw some figures together on what you could roughly predict it's gonna cost MS4 and us down the road each year to have this done.
Yeah, I could reach out to a service and say on an estimate, what would it cost me to do this, per time?
Yeah, well, what's gonna cost us to contract Eagle twice a year to come out and clean out our
Our basins.
basins?
Yeah, I could do that, I could do a count and see what it's gonna be, and that would obviously exclude cleaning your whole system, but, so it's larger than that, I just wanna. And I'm speaking ahead of the game, but as we're coming to a MS4. Our initial is gonna be quite a bit, because we're going to have a lot of sediment and stuff that's. Cause I can tell you, we've never cleaned these
No.
sewers.
Never have.
So you're going to have that initial assessment. It's gonna have to be done reported. Part of my job as the operator is going to make sure that stuff is reported and that it's documented. And the basin are a must. I mean, that is how you stop your sediment from traveling to the freshwater. So, that's the big picture of it, I guess, in a small window. And then we got the sanitation side. We have a bad, like we had air meltdown. I stress to you guys how close we were to it. Hope, this last time the station melted down. We did not, let me make that clear.
That's the reason we bought the generators.
Yeah.
We know that it's gonna happen.
Yeah, well, and I applaud, honestly, I applaud that to the contractor, Superior Pumping coming out. Did some creative thinking and jumper and stuff and got our pump running. It was running backwards, but it was running and it was pushing some fluid. To at least get that level down, but he did it in a hurry and it helped, so. So anyhow, I don't want to take too much time, but I can get some harder numbers together. I just kind of wanted to see and let the board know where we're at and also understand that we're talking about a joint effort. So
Yeah,
that we should be anyhow.
well, it's also we need to be brought up to the actual town board.
Yeah.
Where everybody knows where we stand on this.
Well, and I'll be the first one to say, my stance always was, we're too small to have a back truck. Until I went and started talking to other people, and they're like, well, we use it for our storm board, we use it for our stormwater, we use it for sanitation. And other departments said if they need something, you know, the street department, they hydro board with theirs, you know, for digging holes and stuff. I was like, oh, well, I guess I really didn't think about all that. But Porter has a huge one, by the way, but we don't need that. The thing's big. It's a nice truck, but anyhow,
It's something we have to learn to live with because the government says do it.
yeah, no, absolutely, we're in that predicament, so. Again, I just wanted to bring it up, but I'll get some more numbers together and go from there.
Any announcements?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second, roll call please.
Jim Constantine,
Yes.
Jennifer McCart.
Yes.